I guess all that's left to say about the Sony Spider-Man villainverse is...
let it die, let it die, let it shrivel up and...
Kraven's complex relationship with his ruthless father starts him down a path of vengeance with brutal consequences, motivating him to become not only the greatest hunter in the world, but also one of its most feared. Can we be honest with each other? There was no hope for this film. We're all here for Aaron Taylor Johnson. We've been waiting over a year with all these pushbacks due to various different issues that have come against this project. But really, we're all here for Aaron Taylor Johnson to take a crack, yet again actually, in a Marvel film, but as a leading man. None other than Kraven the Hunter, one of the most interesting Spider-Man villains, I would say. Not my favorite or top 3, but he's an interesting one, to say the least. The other reason why I was actually interested in this one is because, well, they're deciding to have some balls to make this movie rated R, which they should have done with the other Venom movies, especially if it's supposedly the last Venom film, The Last Dance, but whatever. If this is how they want to go out with a bang, I guess do it with Kraven the Hunter, make it bloody, make it R-rated. Does it succeed in that fashion? Let's just get to the part you're looking for. Yes, this movie is bloody, and funny enough though, it felt kind of PG-13-ish in the first act. You know in the first Venom movie where, let's say Venom's about to eat somebody or it's about to chop off a body part or whatever, it quickly cuts away? Yeah, it kind of does that in the first action sequences that we get with the Kraven character, where it is bloody, I'm not going to deny that, but it just jerks the camera right away from the action at times. That's why I say it mostly succeeds in achieving the bloody good violence that you can find in a rated R film. And we finally got that in Kraven the Hunter for this Sony villainverse that they want to make so badly. The Sinister Six probably, which at this point it's definitely not going to happen. I do find some issues though with the editing where it came across like this clearly was probably going to be a PG-13, but then they decided, screw it, let's make it rated R. My favorite action scene is actually right in the middle of the film where Kraven infiltrates a facility. He's literally stalking people just a foot away from them. And it almost comes across too cheesy where it's a little bit too unbelievable, but that's kind of what makes the scene unique. And it does work, at least for me it did. Is Kraven the Hunter good? No. Is it better than Madam Web? Yes. I would say it's in between the ballpark of Venom 1 and Venom 3, where Venom 1 and 3 I found to be dumb and fun. They're serviceable. They know what they are. They're 2000s throwback campy films. And the downfall to the Sonyverse are the self-serious ones, being Morbius, Madam Web, and now Kraven the Hunter, where it does have some fun with certain scenes, especially with Aaron Taylor Johnson, where he can have some fun to chew up the scenery at times with other characters. But for the most part, this movie is just too serious for my liking. Now for Aaron Taylor Johnson, he's got the physique, he can pull off the action sequences really well, and for majority of his lines, he can make it look pretty cool. But then there are moments, because of the script, where he can just sound kind of lame. It's almost like the screenwriters forget that this character is already cool, and you already have somebody like Aaron Taylor Johnson portraying this character that's double cool. Somehow this script makes him kind of lame at times, weirdly. Yes, there are sick kills and a few funny one-liners, but those awkward lines stick out and drag the character down. Another character I did find for the most part enjoyable was the Foreigner. His backstory is barely mentioned, classic Sony, but his powers, they're actually cool. He slows down time, and the way it's executed is pretty slick. It's just that backstory that is mentioned literally by one sentence to give motivation for his character, and when you get to the end for his arc, it just kind of ends, and that's it, nothing else. Oh yeah, we have Ariana Debose. She's here. And honestly, she's not that good. Yeah, I said it. She's an Academy Award winning actress. This director and writer found a way to make this character just appear just so lame. I love Ariana Debose, but this character has to do things that I just could not believe that this character could pull off. And I know probably from the comic books it's maybe accurate to her abilities or whatever, but in this world that we are established in and how they bring out these revelations about her character are just dumb. She's underutilized, and it's hard to say whether it's her fault or the director's, honestly, at this point. Some of her line delivery, like, there are 6 strange men coming into the building and they do not look like they belong here. You won't believe it till you hear it. And yes, Russell Crowe is here, and honestly, he is one of the few highlights in the film, playing the father to Kraven and Dimitri. But as far as the story goes, the tension between father and son and conflict of good and evil and not becoming the person you fear you will become one day is an interesting concept, for the most part, that is executed quite well, especially with the interactions between Russell Crowe and Aaron Taylor Johnson. I believed most of their scenes, and I found it to be the highlight for the story. Everything else around the story doesn't really work. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room, or I should say, Rhino. Alessandro Nivola plays him, and I'm not sure what he's doing. His performance feels off, like he's doing 2 different things. One, a very overly campy 2000s superhero movie, and another, a crime drama. Pick one or the other. But how does he look? The Rhino in CGI form for the 3rd act in like 5 minutes of appearance that he has. Not good. Overall, the CGI is kind of messy. I'm not going to say it's the worst of the year. It definitely needed more time, and it's crazy because this whole project had loads of time with the amount of pushbacks it had. Besides all of that, this is my biggest gripe with the film. The tagline is, "Villains aren't born, they're made." So I'm coming in with an expectation like I'm going to get a villain origin film. That's what you're trying to tell me as the audience member. I'm going to see Kraven be this massive killer, this villain. We do get the killer part, just not the villain, because he's a person that is actually a predator that stalks not just prey, not really prey actually, he just stalks other predators. He stalks criminals, and that's great, but I want to feel this other side, this evil side to the character of Kraven. And because this whole Sony villain, honestly hero villain verse, it's kind of a disappointment when you are supposed to get a movie about a bad guy, but really he's just another anti-hero. Overall, Kraven the Hunter is exactly what you'd expect. It's an R-rated Sony villain verse film with a dry script and few bright spots, mostly in the family dynamics. Aaron Taylor Johnson does his best, but the material makes him feel like he's trying way too hard to be cool. Yes, it's bloody and it achieves it in that sense, but I wish there was more to the story. It's fun in places, but it's another missed opportunity from Sony. 5 out of 10. Well, thank you guys so much for watching this review. It really means a lot. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, but most importantly, do not forget to be blessed.